It's fantastic to see so many of you joining again from all over Scotland, and friends old and new to this session this evening. Introduce yourselves in the chat box to everyone. There are quite a few, we're expecting quite a few this evening, so it would be great if you could mute your audio unless you want to speak and put your hand up. And this really is an interactive session, so if you do want to speak, let us know. But as we go along, do put any questions in the chat box. We really want these Connect sessions to connect, so to be as participative as possible. We are recording this main webinar. We won't be recording small group discussions. Next slide, please, Kirsten. So it's welcome from me, Betsy King from Learning for Sustainability Scotland, and my colleague Kirsten, also colleague from GTC Scotland, Suzanne Aldous, and we are really pleased to be welcoming a guest this evening, a member of a senior leadership team from Highland, John Rutter, who will be the focus of this session, which is how is learning for sustainable development being embedded in the setting? What is the importance of the senior leadership team? Next, Kirsten. And yeah, this is an hour and a quarter session. I'm just doing a very quick welcome and setting the scene introduction, but importantly then handing over to Susie from General Teaching Council for Scotland, who will be focusing on how this relates to the professional standards, and then to John Rutter, who's Deputy Head Teacher in Highland Council, who will be telling his story of the role of senior leadership in enabling LfS. And then it's over to all of you. Well, what is Learning for Sustainability? Setting the scene. And by way of context setting, next slide, Kirsten, please. I'd just like to start with a reminder of all those issues that really are so critically important for the future of children and young people. These social, economic and environmental sustainability issues are an international priority. You will all be aware of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and that logo up in the top right, which is a great logo, but there are 17 goals, as you know. But in Scotland, social, environmental and economic sustainability is at the heart of our national outcomes. And this image on the left that you can see here shows sustainability at their heart, and also it underpins the priority that Learning for Sustainability holds in education and learning. It is a national priority of education in Scotland. And I'm really pleased to say, by way of context, that this is highlighted in the current programme for government in Scotland as a priority. So what does this mean in schools, in particular for senior leadership teams? Well, next slide, Kirsten. And you saw there that we're talking about learning for a better world. Learning for sustainability is defined in Scotland as a cross-curricular approach, and it is all about enabling young people, learners, educators, settings, and the wider community to build a socially just, sustainable and equitable society. And doing this through the knowledge, skills, values heart, hand and head approach, which weaves together and creates the phrase that I love, which is transformative learning experiences for young people. As I said, it's highlighted in the programme for government, but it's also highlighted in the 2024 National Improvement Framework for Schools, and its increasing learning for sustainability has been part of the school inspection self-evaluation framework, HIGIAS 4, for a number of years, I think since 2016. So this is a priority. Learning for sustainability is a priority in education in Scotland. And next slide, Kirsten. I suppose what demonstrates this? Well, in 2023, the Scottish Government collaboratively developed a new Learning for Sustainability action plan, which I'm sure you have all come across. And the aim of this is to build an inspiring movement for change so that every setting in Scotland becomes a sustainable learning setting by 2030. So that's an inspiring target. The action plan itself, if you dig into it, was developed with children and young people and also with educators. And it's set out in these themes that you can see here, 5 themes. And there are 25 quite wide-ranging actions, and the actions are constantly under review and in development with a wide range of stakeholders, including children and young people. Scottish Government and Education Scotland are at the centre of this, but if you look into the action plan, I think importantly, what it is saying is this is not just for the few, it's for everyone. This is actually something that is a collaborative, holistic effort to take forward something in schools, in settings in Scotland. And next slide, Kirsten, is really what is this sustainable learning setting all about? And I guess this is where, although this means everyone, this is a holistic approach, this is where senior leadership teams in settings have a particularly critical part to play, because a sustainable learning setting is looking to something which is about a whole school culture, a whole school ethos, and also having sustainability reflected in the curriculum to do with learning, teaching approaches, assessment, pedagogies, as I say, also reflected in surroundings, so in the way the school operates, but also in school buildings, school grounds, and reaching out into the wider school community as well. So this really does mean that everyone needs to be involved. I think I possibly didn't mention a major thing, which is that learning for sustainability is an entitlement for learners in Scotland, but it's also a responsibility of all educators. And I'm going to pass over to you, Susie, from GTC Scotland, just to go into a bit more detail about what that looks like.